Many people, myself included, like to give and receive food gifts, and I do like to bake and do cookies and breads and muffins for people. But another thing I enjoy doing is making dehydrated fruit gifts. Mainly apples, pears, and persimmons because that's what I've had available. And Eddie and I actually this evening got a very nice gift of apples and pears, and we're not going to be able to finish all of them fresh, so I thought I'd start dehydrating them. And we're going to a little party on Saturday and another one the week from Saturday. In addition to cookies, I'd like to bring some dried fruit too. One of the things I enjoy doing is taking those apples and coating them with a little bit of sugar and cinnamon and giving them a really good apple pie taste when they are finished. So I'll show you how I do that. It doesn't matter what dehydrator you have. I've had several different types. I've even used a friend's Excalibur once, which was really Cadillac. That was amazing. But the one I have right now is a Nesco. It has 5 trays and a bunch of different settings, and I bought it for $25 off of Facebook Marketplace. All dehydrators come with racks, usually a series of racks, and you can put your fruits or whatever directly on that or on the tray. But a friend of mine got me these screens which fit this perfectly, and I like to use those because, you know, apples or whatever you're dehydrating will get sticky and will leave a little bit of residue, and it sure is easier to clean the screens than it is to clean the tray itself. Right now I have 2 nice big apples. Usually my rule of thumb is 1 apple per rack, but I like to do 2 at a time to coat them and all that sort of stuff. So what I'm going to do basically is cut this in half and then cut off the top and the bottom and then do some slices. I'll show you. Do it. Cut through, then I take off this end, the top end. You can eat that, it's good. Take off the bottom end, and then I just cut some real nice even slices. If you have a mandolin or some sort of cutting utensil, of course it makes life a lot easier. The one nice thing about having a mandolin or something like that is that your slices are really, really even. And when they're even, they also dry evenly. When you cut by hand, there's never going to be completely even. So some are going to dry sooner than others. So basically you just pull out the ones that are dried and leave the other ones in there until they dry. I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting up these 2 apples, and I'll show you what I do next. All right, so here's my bowl of cut up apples. I don't worry about the seeds and stuff like that. They fall out either when I'm cutting them up or during the drying process. I just let the chips fall where they may. For every 2 apples, I like to put in about 1/4 cup of white sugar, and I'm just going to kind of sprinkle that. Sorry about the lighting, it's just terrible in here. I'll sprinkle it in, mix it up a little bit, sprinkle a little bit more in, and like that. And then I also put in cinnamon. I don't know how much cinnamon I put in, probably about a teaspoon by the time I'm done sprinkling it. So I'll put a little bit on, kind of mix it up, make sure it gets incorporated everywhere, and then just keep adding it like that until it looks like everything is pretty well coated. Like that. And just keep mixing. Well, here we are. I have a total of 4 trays in here, 4 apples. And as you can see, I've cut them, I've laid them out. It's okay if they maybe touch a little bit, but they really should not be overlapping. They will shrink quite a bit. They're all tucked away in the dehydrator. In a moment, I'm going to turn them on. My dehydrator actually has temperature gauges, and I think fruits and vegetables is 135, which is where it is set right now, and it will go on as soon as I plug it in. This is the first dehydrator I've ever had that does have those temperature gauges. If yours doesn't and it's just plug and play, do it. It's not necessary to have all this fancy stuff. And it's 9:30 at night, and I'm going to leave it on all night, and we'll see how it is in the morning. Well, it was about 12 hours that the apples were in the dehydrator, and they came out nice and dry and kind of crispy. This is what a tray looks like. As you can see, it shrank quite a bit. And here's what they look like stacked up on a plate. I'm going to be taking some of these to a party tomorrow, and they'll be on the cookie platter with all the other desserts. They are so good. Later this evening, before I go to bed, I'm going to put some pears on and dry those out too. Those are also very, very sweet once they've been dehydrated. Anyway, wishing all of you a wonderful holiday season, happy solstice, and Merry Christmas.